Today we're going to wire up all the outlets and lights inside this utility building. It's a pretty unique structure made out of Lavacrete, which is a little known alternative building technique that uses scoria sand, cement or lime, and rebar to create insulative, breathable, sound absorbing walls that are naturally beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to be running the wire, connecting the breaker box, installing the outlets, switches, and lights, all inside these 12-inch thick concrete style walls with a C-Purlin metal roof. Should be fun. Let's get started. Also, if you're a regular watcher and confused why the roof is already on this Lavacrete building, this video just had to go out before the other videos. Don't worry, we'll get to that. We'll explain it all. But yes, there is a roof on the building. I mean, you knew that was going to happen, right? Of course you did. Now, for a little context, this is actually a utility building for a much larger project, the hyperadobe roundhouse, which you can see back there behind me. We're completely off grid here, which means that we have to sort of build our own grid, and that's going to be an integral part of this building. In fact, this whole back wall is going to be batteries and inverters and charge controllers, and they're all going to be connected to a huge 23 kilowatt solar array that will be back out there. Now, we have a long way to go before we're ready to install that big system, but we still want to be able to use this building in the meantime. So we're going to wire it up, energize it with one of our portable power stations, and that way we'll be able to use it temporarily until the big system is ready. We still have lots of work to do before we get to that stage. So let's talk about Lavacrete and electrical boxes. To build Lavacrete walls, you lightly pack the material into a set of forms. This gives you the opportunity to set outlets in place as you fill, with conduit connected for access later. When we were building this structure, we used masonry electrical boxes with flush faces. Then we added threaded adapters and 3/4 inch conduit that sent vertically up the wall. They got screwed right to the inside of the forms, and when they're removed, they're perfectly embedded. The vertical conduit can then be accessed in the ceiling cavity. For this building, we added a 90-degree long sweep pointed towards the inside of the building, formed the Lavacrete around it, and now you can see we have a nice little access point to pull our wire. There is an awful lot to think about when you're designing and building and planning a structure like this, and also thinking through all of the electrical that's going to happen. So this building already has, I think, 11 electrical boxes that are embedded into the actual Lavacrete, and they already have conduit that's pulled up where we can access it. Some of those go to outlets, some of them go to lights, some of them go to switches. We're going to get to all that, but we have to back up a second and make sure we install our breaker box in here, right? So even though we're going to have all of our big off-grid solar stuff here, that still has to go into a breaker box, and then that breaker box is going to power all the different outlets in here, and then it's going to run power into the building over there. There's already conduit and stuff set in here, and it's trenched underground. It's ready to pull. That is a whole thing for another day. So right now we're going to focus on getting our breaker box in place so that we can start pulling wires into it. All right, so I've got my load center here. We're going to mount it to this wall. One of the reasons we picked Lavacrete for this building, besides it being really insulative and sound absorbing, is that it's a big concrete style wall, which means number one, it's extremely fireproof. I mean, it's made out of lava, but also it means that we can anchor in really heavy stuff into the wall. The inverters we're going to install here are going to be huge. So that does mean I'm not just going to be screwing in with like a normal screw. We're going to be using concrete anchors to get this in. Also, guys, I'm not an electrician. I have built a bunch of solar systems here on the property. I have run wire inside of framed walls, in earthbag buildings, but I haven't ever done this before, so we're going to be learning as we go. I've decided I'm going to mount this box all the way back here in the corner. I'm going to try to avoid our glass bottles here because we want that light to still come through. So basically, I'm going to put this thing kind of right here. This will be a really good spot. Give me access to everything, and then we can bring all of our wire down in through the top, out of the ceiling. I'm sure you're aware of how concrete anchors work, but just in case, you have to drill to a very specific size and depth. You want to go slightly deeper than the actual TAPCon. So for example, I'm going to be using longer screws. I just put this in to kind of hold this here. I'm going to be doing longer screws to permanently mount it. You want to drill just a little bit deeper than that. Make sure that the hole is cleaned out. running into this thing, so I'm gonna pop it back off here and get these holes in. There you go, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I thought way too much about the best way to pull wires into these boxes from our exposed conduits. When I started researching all this stuff, you know, my first thought was, well, you got conduit, THHN is a great candidate for that to pull it down in, but then I kind of got into the situation of, well, once it comes out of that conduit, then it's got to transition to something else, right? And so then you're either looking at some sort of combiner box. There's not really a good way to connect anything to that conduit. That was one thing I didn't plan very well. Also, you know, this open cavity sealing will be spray foamed and it will have an actual sealing under it. So technically I don't need to use MC or armored cable. So I think I'm just going to keep it simple and go with Romex. I can pull the Romex through this 3/4. That's okay for short distances. And then I'm going to be drilling holes through the C-Purlins far enough down to keep away from the roof. And then I've got plastic bushings to put in. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm going to show you how easy it is to pull the wire through. I thought it was going to be harder with the Romex, but it really wasn't that difficult. And these are pretty short runs too. I mean, we're talking, this is only 7 feet here and it's 8 feet on the back. So the distances really aren't that long. And then you just want to keep on pushing it. So it's already popped out down here, so I'm just gonna grab it. I said it was easy. Here's where it gets tricky. I want this outlet and this outlet here to both be on the same circuit. Now I could get one of those breakers that has 2 inputs on it. That's an option. Or I could junction them. This is all 12 2-wire, by the way. If I'm going to run stuff, especially in a utility building, I'm just going to do it all 12 gauge and make everything 20 amp because why not? You never know what you're going to need to plug in here. And what I am just realizing is that of all the supplies and all the things, you should see this table back here. I have a whole table of stuff to do this install. I did not get ground screws for these metal boxes. I'm going to have to run to the store real quick. They should carry ground screws. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. All right, we are back from the hardware store. Jackpot. I got a whole pack of ground screws and they had some tandem 20 amp breakers. So we're going to do this both ways depending on the scenario. So I think I said already, this wall has 2 interior outlets. I want them to be on the same circuit, so I'm going to use the tandem breaker for this one because they're so close together. Doing a junction box just kind of feels like more work, more complicated. It's a little more wire, obviously, but whatever, it's fine. So I've gone ahead and anchored in some wire clips, restraints, I don't know, just something to hold that wire up. And I'll probably add some more down the line depending on where I end up running all this wire. I've already got the wire in. I'm just gonna pull them down through my little clips down into the box, and then we're gonna wire this in, and this circuit will be done. First thing wired up. Pretty exciting. Now we just got a lot more to do. Okay, time for my least favorite part. Wiring up the outlets. J-bend in it. There we go. That's a little cleaner. All right. It only took like 4 hours, but finally got our first circuit finished. Okay, so this next one is definitely going to be more complicated. I decided to put 4 exterior outlets on this building. So there's one right here, 1, 2, 3, and can't see it back there, but 4. Basically one on each side of the building, north, south, east, and west. I figure it's a utility building, right? Eventually, we may be out here doing stuff and we want to plug things into it. However, because of the way the conduit comes up through these walls, it makes it a little complicated, right? Because that means I'm going to have to junction all 4 of these together, and it needs to be GFCI. So we have to think about how we're going to connect it so that one is GFCI and all the rest downstream take on those properties. This means we're going to have to go through C-Purlins. It means we're going to have to route all the way around. For the C-Purlins, we just have these little plastic bushings, so we'll drill a hole and make sure it's, I think, 1.5 inches is what they say you should be down from the ceiling or from the top of the roof, which makes sense. You don't want a screw to hit it. We'll pop this in, we'll pull it through just like you would a wood rafter. And we just got to figure out the best way to route all this stuff. I'm going to figure that out as we go. So wish me luck. Well, I spent most of the afternoon on one of the exterior outlets because the more I thought about it and realized that I needed to actually set the GFCI on the first plug on the line and then come out of the load and then string the rest of the way down, it really was breaking my brain on how these wires needed to go. So anyway, basically I figured out on the first outlet that will be the GFCI, we're going to do it on the outside here. So it's going to be right here. So I had to pull 2 wires at the same time, which was definitely pushing it for the 3/4 inch, but we made it through. And then I basically had to run the line, so you can see where is it up there. The line is running all the way down, and then it comes through, and then it's going to go down into the breaker, which will be the main breaker for all 4 exterior plugs. And then the second wire is going to start daisy chaining. So it comes out and it goes down through there, and then it's going to go down this wall. I haven't done it yet. And then right there is another outlet. So there's going to be, I think there's going to have to be a junction box there, unless I want to pull double wires everywhere. I'm going to need to go into a junction box and then energize that plug, go to the next one, energize that plug, and then come all the way over to here to energize this plug. There's probably a better way to do this, but this, I'm in deep now. We're doing it. It's going to happen. And I don't know if I'm going to get this part done today or not. It's been a journey, friends. It's been a journey. Has it been a journey? Yes. Yep. I know. It's been rough, huh? It's been rough. Okay, I gotta get this connected in now, or else I'm gonna get super confused about what is line and what is load. Alright, we made it to the end of the day. Did not get as much done as I was hoping that I would. This GFCI downstream thing really messed with my head. I think I've got it figured out, but we'll have to see tomorrow, because really, for this to work, I'm going to need a big junction box up here, and I am certain that all of the little outlet boxes I got are not big enough. So I'm going to have to go through my supply pile over there to see if I've got anything bigger. Might have to run to the store again. This is how it always goes, right? I'm beat. I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello and good morning. We are back out the next day at the Lavacrete Utility Lodge to hopefully wrap up this wiring project. Now, the rat's nest you see behind me, you'll remember this has to do with GFC eyes and exterior outlets all being on the same circuit. So I found this plastic junction box in my garage. I don't remember what I bought it for, but we're going to use it. So I've added some restraining clips. Also, I know probably not the right things, but this is what I had, guys, and it's going to be fine. It'll be all right. So we're going to mount this to the wall. I'm going to pull 2 wires in, one from the top, one from the side. We will join them all together inside the box and cover it. And then we get to go ahead and install the outlets on the outside. So we officially have our exterior outlets all wired up. That rat's nest of junctions worked fine. I did a little testing. We'll get to plugging everything in later, but just I had to know, like it was so complicated. I just had to make sure that it was going to work. So we're good there. That means we're ready to move on to the next step. So there is one light switch in this building, and it's right there. It's already cast into the wall. The tricky part is that we aren't done building in here. There's going to be some framed walls separating different areas. And so I'm not actually ready to install a bunch of light fixtures yet. So what I'm going to do, just to get this light switch working and get a light in here, this whole half of the building, like I said earlier, is going to be the power wall. So I'm just going to put a light fixture like here, and I'm going to tie it to that switch just so we can test it and see how it works. And then if I need to rearrange these or change it later, I'll make sure we do that before we close the ceiling in. But this should be a good little test to see how it works.
Yo, am I connected? All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Let's get connected, you and me. Let's get connected. That's what we need. Let's get connected, and we can put this thing together. Let's get connected to a brand new vibe. Feel it deeper down inside.
I'm back from lunch, and the Pyrenees have taken over. Okay, so we're almost done. I've got the light fixture set up. So I need to wire up the switch right here and go ahead and connect it into the load center. And then we have, I think, one more wire to run and we will be done with this project.
Let's get connected.
Okay, we have finally made it to the end of our journey. We have lights hooked up, we have outlets hooked up, we have things junctioned, we've got stuff run through the metal along the Lavacrete wall. It's time. It's time to power it up. So what I have done is I have totally MacGyvered this, and I have basically taken a piece of Romex, plugged it into the inputs of the load center, and I have put a plug on the other end. We're going to plug it in the back of this, we're going to turn it on, and we're going to start testing stuff. There. And then, let's see, we are not using this, so we're going to use that, and that, and that, and that. Nothing blew up, so that's good. First thing we're going to check is to see if this outside light works. It does, and it's purple. Not sure why it's purple. It's one of those Wi-Fi lights where you can change the colors. We're going to have to change that. Now, let's test our overhead light. Light switch on the wall. And it's blue. Promise I'm not trying to start a party in the Lavacrete building, guys. The only other thing we really need to do is just double check all the outlets, which should be pretty easy. Battery charger. Looks good. Now, the outside outlets, remember we junctioned them or joined them all together so that this is the GFCI and then all the other three are downstream of that. So if this trips, they all trip, right? So as long as, I think this is the last one in the chain, so as long as this one works, ooh, sorry about that wind, then that means they're all working. I see lights. I see lights, guys. We did it. Way to go, us. And you know, it's cool. This has a solar input on it. I need to grab myself an adapter to plug into a solar panel that I just have sitting around. I'll just run that wire straight out through the wall here. We'll set a solar panel. That'll keep that thing charged up pretty much all the time, but it will be really nice to have power inside the Lavacrete Utility Lodge. All right, that is it for today. We've got lots more to do on this Lavacrete Utility Lodge, and the roundhouse roof is coming up soon. Keep watching, friends. We'll see you soon.